Welcome back to my channel. My name is Kim of EggshellQuilts.com, and in today's video I'm going to show you how to baste your quilt using glue. So I have been a pin girl forever, and just in the last couple of years I've started using Elmer's school glue and Elmer's liquid and the stick. I find this stick is really awesome for smaller projects like this, but I wanted to show you how to do the liquid if you're doing larger quilts, because I prefer this for larger quilts compared to the stick glue. The stick glue is really awesome for smaller projects. But anyway, so I've just cut out my pieces and sandwiched my quilt together. So I have a backing here, the batting, and then the quilted top. This is an applique pattern that will be available on my website if you're interested in it. But anyway, so I have sandwiched everything together, and now I'm ready to baste my quilt. So I like to drizzle the glue on really, really lightly. So I'm just gonna pull the backing away like that. And I just wanted to kind of show you quickly. I do kind of like half of a quilt or half of a project at a time with the glue. And this is how I do that. So I take my glue and I just really thinly apply. It doesn't have to be a lot. Like, you don't want gobs, because I'm a hand quilter and the gobs are not good. So I will go one way and then the other. I kind of wanted to just get the corners there. And it's like, it's really thin. And then what I like to do is very gently roll the batting kind of up and lay it out. And then take the top. We're going to roll the top back, but what I like to do is lay the top over and then just kind of fan your hands over. And it flattens the glue really, really nicely, so you don't get any weird puckers or big glue globs, because you don't want the globs, and it's not pleasant when you're hand quilting. But I have not had a problem with glue basting for hand quilting. So if you're interested in learning how to hand quilt, I do have a tutorial for that as well, and you can go check that out on my channel. I'll link it in the description or right here on the screen somewhere. Okay, and then we're gonna do the same for this side. I've turned the quilt, and we're just gonna do this other half, just so you can see where, you can start to see where it's kind of shiny there. That's where the glue is. So we just kind of want to lay it out again, make sure it's kind of nice and flat. And I do press my pieces before I start basting. It just makes life so much easier. Oops, I got a glob there. And I just really thinly apply it. Like I said, it's kind of like a really light drizzle, and I find that that's enough. Your quilt's not going to shift, and it's just awesome. So again, I'm going to lay that kind of down. There's a little bit of a wrinkle there, and then the same for the top. And I just like to kind of take my hands and pretty aggressively wipe from the center out. And now we're going to do that for the top. Now that we have basted the backing to the batting, we're just going to roll the top up just a little bit. You kind of want to do this before your glue dries, because I find that the glue does go through the batting. So keep that in mind. You want to do this in one sitting. You don't want to leave it, because your quilt top will fuse to the batting, and it won't be enough for it to stick. So I just kind of drizzle over, and then what I do, I take the quilt top and I lay it back over, and then I just kind of roll up a corner just to see exactly where the glue landed. I have a little bit on the batting right there, but I want to make sure that I get the corners, because those are kind of what comes up. And then I'm just gonna, again, smooth it out. It's got a little bit on my hand, but it'll dry anyway. And after I'm completely done basting the quilt, I will leave it for a couple hours to dry before I start quilting it, especially machine quilting. I mean, hand quilting as well, but definitely machine quilting. So I'm just pulling it up to where I can start to see where I've drizzled the glue from the other half of the quilt. And then I'm gonna, and you can do this in sections. Sometimes I work a little bit differently for really big quilts, like queens or kings or something like that. And my process will change a little bit because it is so big. I will do kind of like sections at a time. But yeah, so that is like the basis of how to baste your quilt with glue. And like I said, it's washable, it's non-toxic, you don't have to worry about anything like that. And I find that it just works really well. Like, I find sometimes when I have pinned it, like I use, where are they? I'll show you really quickly here. Oh, dropping stuff. When I use my curved pins, even when I pin it really good, I find that the quilt, even after that, it kind of shifts a little bit, and I don't have that problem with glue basting. I prefer it so much more now. And it just as long as you let it dry, it's just a really great process. So, and like I said, it's not going to bother your needles. But so that is the glue again, and then the Elmer is, and it's so much cheaper than fabric glue as well. I have like some fabric glues that I've bought, and it is more expensive. Like, you can get a lot of this stuff for super cheap, and like I said, it's non-toxic. It's not gonna bother anything, and I haven't had a problem with hand quilting it at all. So, but I do like to make sure that it's kind of laid out really nice. All right, I'm gonna let that dry, and then I can start hand quilting. And like I said, I do have a hand quilting tutorial, so you can go and check that out as well.